In the annals of sporting history, the title of the wealthiest athlete is often attributed to contemporary icons like Floyd Mayweather or Michael Jordan, known for their multi-million-dollar earnings. However, if we venture back to the ancient world, the story of Gaius Appuleius Diocles, a Roman chariot racer from the 2nd century AD, emerges as a testament to the dazzling riches that could be amassed in a bygone era. His tale is not just about wealth, it's a window into the grandeur, extravagance, and brutality of ancient Rome. Diocles was not born into privilege. He hailed from the province of Lusitania, in modern-day Portugal. His father, engaged in the transport business, likely influenced his choice of hobby, which would ultimately become his profession. At the tender age of 18, he began competing in chariot races in Ilerda, a city in what is now Spain. His early victories brought him fame, and he decided to take his talents to the grandest stage of all, Rome. Upon his arrival in the capital, Diocles found himself at the Circus Maximus, a colossal 600-meter-long hippodrome that could accommodate 150,000 spectators. He commenced his career racing for the White faction, a group that predominantly drew charioteers from the lower social classes. However, it wasn't long before he switched to the Green team, one of the most influential in the chariot racing world. But it was his move to the Reds at the age of 27 that would set him on the path to unparalleled wealth. At the time, this faction lacked top-tier participants, allowing Diocles to negotiate exclusive terms that ensured he received a reduced fraction of deductions from his earnings. In the world of chariot racing, this was akin to signing a modern-day athlete's multi-million-dollar contract. In a sport rife with danger, Diocles' last race took place when he was 42, a remarkably long professional lifespan for a charioteer. The rules of chariot racing permitted competitors to cut off their rivals, often leading to harrowing crashes. These tactics were frequently orchestrated by several chariots from the same team. Serious injuries and even death were not uncommon in this perilous arena, yet the rewards were substantial. Single-race cash prizes for victors of capital races reached tens of thousands of sestertii, in stark contrast to the meager daily earnings of an average laborer. Even for the majority of charioteers who were slaves, the accumulation of victories could pave the way to freedom. Chariot races, alongside gladiatorial combat, reigned as some of the most celebrated spectacles of the time. The high stakes, the thunder of hooves, and the specter of cataclysmic collisions only heightened the drama. Unlike many other sports, chariot races were open to all, regardless of social class or gender. Women, a rarity in the audiences of ancient sporting events, were not excluded from the thrill of the races. But it wasn't all just entertainment. Racing teams, or factions, were more than mere sporting entities. They often represented various sponsor groups, each associated with distinct social and religious ideas. This made the competitions not just thrilling contests, but also political battlegrounds. The rulers of Rome and later the Byzantine Empire recognized the power of these factions and appointed special officials to oversee them, aiming to keep them in check. Over time, the factions evolved into significant political forces within major cities, occasionally morphing into something akin to criminal syndicates, especially in Byzantium. The fervent supporters who rallied around these teams were reminiscent of modern football fans, showing unwavering loyalty and sometimes descending into violence. One of the darkest chapters in the history of these factions unfolded during the Nika Uprising of 532 AD, the largest revolt in Byzantine history. This revolt, with its devastating consequences, had its roots in a scuffle among spectators at the imperial hippodrome. The conflict was a microcosm of the broader tensions in the city, as it pitted the blues, Veneti, favored by the emperor, against the greens, Prasini. The situation escalated to such a point that the oppressed Gardens, a significant component of the fan base, turned to Emperor Justinian, who was watching from his private box, and demanded his abdication. After the instigators of the fight were apprehended and executed, the Veneti and Prasini joined forces, igniting the spark of the massive uprising. The brutal suppression that followed marked the beginning of the end for chariot racing, a sport that had once held the Roman and Byzantine worlds in thrall. The story of Gaius Appuleius Diocles, the charioteer who ascended to unimaginable wealth in ancient Rome, is not merely a tale of riches. It's a vivid snapshot of a bygone era when sporting heroes held the hearts of the masses, and the factions they represented transcended mere competition to become powerful social and political entities. The arenas of chariot racing were more than just battlegrounds for thrilling contests. They were crucibles in which the spirit of ancient Rome and Byzantium was forged and tested, often with tumultuous results. The decline of chariot racing mirrored the shifting sands of history, marking the end of an epoch and the birth of new eras, each with its own heroes and dramas.